What's up, everybody? Welcome to another show, man. Our second WNBA show, second real WNBA show of the season. We have the legendary Maria Marino here with us from Action Network. Y'all know that I'm partnering with Action Network. I do plenty of shows and podcasts for them over there. Maria hosts the Green Dot Daily shows over there at Action Network. So if you guys ever checked out those shows, this is Maria, the usual host for the she does the podcast for WNBA for the WNBA buckets over there as well. She just did a show with Sean Kerner as well. So if you guys want to check that out on the Action Network podcast. But Maria, how are you doing over there? Everything good with you today?
Oh, I'm great. Good to be back with you, Jay. I'm excited. I'm going to the Liberty game tonight. We got a
Oh, okay.
Commissioner's Cup rematch. The Lynx are in town in Brooklyn. Actually going with a couple of the Buckets WNBA crew. You know, some of our action
Okay.
analysts are all getting together. So should be a good game. We'll get into it, but I'm a little bummed because we just got word a bit ago that Sabrina Ionescu is apparently questionable with an
Yeah.
illness. So, what did you think of that?
Well, let's go ahead and get into the game then, because
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Okay.
exactly what I think about it, Maria. You know, we got the Liberty here. We're going to the streets of New York in this one. We got the Liberty laying 5 at the house versus the Lynx. And it's just crazy because Maria, like my son, obviously he's only 12 years old. He doesn't gamble or anything, but like I gave him a test. You see what I'm saying? I said, I said, who do you think is gonna win out of I said, who do you like, Liberty and Lynx? He was like, I mean, I like both teams. Both teams are really good. I said, yeah, but they play a game tomorrow. Who do you like in those teams? I like most of the people on the show, they like when I have like a little bit of story time, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
true story. And I asked them, so they're playing tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? And I said, who do you like versus them? Who you like in that game? And he said, probably the Liberty. And I said, why? He said, because they probably trying to bounce back, because especially they lost in their game versus Commissioner. And I said, you know what? And that's my son. And
That is your
I talked
son.
like, yeah. And I
Of
didn't even
course.
teach him that, but I really just told him like, you
Really?
know what? I swear I don't on
It's
everything.
in
I
your
didn't.
genes. You
It's
can
just in them.
recognize a bounce
Yep,
back spot from a mile
exactly,
away.
exactly. And so I said, you know what? You might have a future in this business here, man. I told him I almost built the whole channel just off of spots like this. Obviously, it's not good that Sabrina it was a question in this one, but hopefully the illness isn't too bad. I listened to the post game interview when they did lose that game. First
Mhm.
off, Maria, they took money out of their pockets. So I'm saying,
Oh
so I know that the Liberty are going to be have this one circled. Hopefully she's not too bad. I do believe that she will suit up and play as long as like she can run, as long as she can
yeah.
walk, she can run, she can shoot the ball. I think she's going to be playing this one, but I think it's more. We've seen the Lynx struggle with some size down low. I think this was more on Brianna Stewart, Jonquil
Yeah.
Jones. You could see Brianna Stewart. I think she had 24 points of her 28 points in the second half. It was something like that. She had a huge second half in that Commissioner's Cup. I think Brianna Stewart and Jonquil Jones are a matchup nightmare for the Lynx. Lynx can ball. They play great defense, but Maria, they're starting to slip up. They're starting to show some vulnerabilities. They're starting to turn the ball over. They barely, I'm not gonna say barely beat the Sky, because they came back and, like, if you were watching the game, they
Yeah.
outscored them 18-5 in that fourth quarter. But the Lynx did not look good all game. Collier looks like her shoulders kind of messing with her. She had a horrible shooting game.
Really?
The Lynx are starting to come back down to earth. Yeah, I don't know if you know, Maria, but the Lynx had Collier was questionable with a shoulder injury versus the Sky, and ended up playing. I think she had one versus the Wings as well, but I know versus the Sky she was questionable, end up playing. And if you just watching her, she was missing wide open shots. Like, she had an absolute horrible shooting game. And so when I'm watching, I'm like, maybe Collier actually is hurt, because the way that she was missing. I know one shot she pulled up from like 10 feet from the basket and literally missed the whole rim. She hit the other side of the backboard. She was wide open. I said that shoulder might be messing with her. I think she only had like 12 or 13 points. Only had 4 points in the first half. Maria, I think the
Mhm.
Lynx are starting to come back down to earth a little bit. Remember, they were exceeding a lot of people's expectations. They were
Yes.
balling. I think they're coming down to earth. This is a revenge spot for the Liberty. They mentioned, hey, we're going to see this team in a few days. I like the Liberty here, Maria. It's actually a little something I do with the trifecta spot. I like the Liberty first quarter -1.5, first half -2.5, full game. You can get -4.5, but I'll say -5.
Yeah.
Obviously, if Sabrina plays, it could go back up. But I think this is a smash spot for the Liberty. They come out red hot and real. And hot take, I think the Liberty are the best team in the WNBA. I think they show it tonight. Um, Come on,
Wow.
Maria. Where
That
are we
was
going? You're
a
going to the game?
lofty claim. Okay, so let me explain to you my dilemma. So as you mentioned, I had Sean Kerner on Buckets WNBA. At the time, this was last night, he felt like the Lynx were the side in terms of, covering the spread. He Lynx plus 5.5. And I think I get why, because they are a good team. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. Obviously, they took care of the Liberty last week, but I'm totally with you in terms of the revenge spot and some of those intangible factors that you can't really quantify. The Sabrina thing, it gives me a little bit of pause, but I think if you like the Liberty as you do, go get it now, because like you said, you can get -4.5. And I like that a whole lot better than, it got up. I saw it get up to 6.5 earlier today. So I was considering betting the Lynx plus 6.5, but I'm like, I'm going to the game. I'm a fan first. I'm rooting for my libs. I feel like it's bad juju if I bet on the
Come on, Liberty or nothing.
I want to be in the crowd cheering unencumbered, and I want to be shouting and screaming for the Liberty and not worried about anything Minnesota's doing. So I'm with you here. I think that Sabrina, unless she's really sick,
right,
I feel like as a competitor, knowing her, she's going to want to get that one, and she is going to want to play. Even if she's not fully healthy, just having her out there, I think, would be a huge decoy for the Liberty, because they really need to have that 3-point shooting threat so that it can open things up a little bit for Jonquel Jones and Stewie. Jonquel Jones is a little bit of an interesting case here because, as you know, she just could not get going offensively against the Lynx last game. She only had 3 points. I think she only took 2 or 3 shots the whole game. Was beasting on the boards, 12 rebounds in that game. But I'm not 100% ready to bet her from a prop perspective, just because she's been a little inconsistent, but she needs to establish herself in this game. I think she's going to have revenge on her mind more than anyone else, because she got cooked so hard, last week. So actually let's just peep. Let's just see what the props are
for Jonquel Jones.
I like to do. All right, let's see. So JJ, I'm not even seeing a line on her rebounds right now.
I think they're saying 14.5 points in the chat. I don't know about the rebounds though.
I
bet you it's up at DraftKings. We're not sponsored by any book, Maria, so you can mention any book.
All right. Hold on. I got FanDuel up right now just because they usually have a lot of props. Okay, so 15.5 points at plus 100, tempting, but I just don't know. I just don't know if I trust her that much. But rebounds, let's see.
She's going for a dub tonight.
Over 9.5, minus 114. Like I said, she had 12 in the last game. And what's she doing? What's she doing recently? Let's pull up the game log.
I'll tell you this, Maria. Even when the Liberty at 6.5 last night, when I'm talking, I sometimes kind of talk to myself about games. I'm like, they're winning this game by double digits. They're winning this game by 10. I was thinking, I was riding the car, I was like, they're going to win by 20 plus. I was like, all right, maybe that's a little much. But I said, they're winning this game by double digits. Don't be scared of the points. I wouldn't even take Lynx at plus 6.5. I think this is a total Liberty spot right here. And at the house, Maria, revenge spot with their home crowd. Remember, the Commissioner's Cup game wasn't in their regular arena. But this one is. I think that hopefully it's a little injury report manipulation. Sabrina plays. Hopefully she splashes 3 threes, gets some assists. I see all the guys as well. They're on Laney's. They're on her rebounds.
Oh, really?
They're taking her over. I believe Turvey hopped on it. He took over 4.5 rebounds for Laney, and then laterally up to 5.5 as well. So they're on Laney's rebounds today in this one. I don't have any props. what I do, I do think that Laney could have a really great game because remember that was her first game back after like a 5 or 6 day absence, so she was rusty in that game. Commissioner's Cup, everything swapped here. You see what I'm saying? I think that the Liberty, they're at the house this time. They're coming in with revenge. They're pissed off. Laney's got a few games under her belt as well. They saw what worked in the second half of that game as well. They had 21 turnovers, Maria. That shit's not happening again. Now the Lynx are the team that's having the turnovers. I don't have much more else to say here. I'm on the Liberty trifecta. I know.
I love it. The last thing I'll say, I'm really glad you brought up Laney. I was looking at her points over 12.5 minus 118. I kind of like that because she consistently gets she gets a lot of shots up. She's not shy, especially if Sabrina is not 100% or is not playing. She's going to be relied upon. And I think she's been a little bit more consistent scoring than like a JJ because that's like so reliant on game script. I think I'm leaning Laney over 12.5. She's got an 18 in the last game, 13 when she played Minnesota, and double digits in 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of the last 8 games that she's played. So kind of like that.
I just had to show him my shirt real quick. It's a Statue of Liberty with wearing some ones. You know what I'm saying? Wearing some Jordan ones.
I love it.
That's the fucking shirt, and those are the vibes.
Those are the vibes. I'm wearing like a pale seafoam in honor of the Liberty colors, so we're on the same page. No way I'm betting the Lynx. I want to root for the Liberty. Let's go back in Brooklyn, baby.
Let's do it. And if the listeners out there, if you got the Sabrinas, put them on.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I want the Sabrinas.
Yeah, they win today. I might have to go snatch me a pair. Liberty for me, trifecta style, bounce back J style in this one. Let's go, Liberty. Come on, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Atlanta in this one, Maria. Let's go. You got the Dream getting a point at the house versus Chicago Sky in this one. We know that the Dream are not. I have a little angle with the Dream here,
you do.
Maria. I do. So this is not a game that I'm on today, to be honest with you, but like I'll tell you what I think. Obviously, they have beaten the Sky 5 straight times. They beat them earlier this year as well. I was on the Dream in that game as well. I was like, there's no way in hell they're losing to the Sky in this one. This is a tough game for me. The Dream were at -1.5 last night. Now they're at +1 in this one. This is a tough game. We know that the Dream aren't the same without Ryan Howard. But one thing I've really noticed with the Dream, Maria, is that they actually have a point guard now. But so before when they had Haley Jones run the point guard, she's not a point. Why in the hell would you have her running the point guard? I was watching the games like, what are you doing? She does not know how to handle the ball. She's not a point guard. It was absolutely hurting the team. This is even when they had Ryan Howard. So Ryan Howard's out now. But now they have Jordan Canada playing. She's actually a point guard, and it's made a lot of difference for the team. Sky still have the size advantage with Reese and Cardoso down low, but I feel like everywhere, and obviously got to stop Carter as well. But I just feel like the Dream might go on a little run here with them actually having a point guard, and they're undervalued in the market with Howard being out. Obviously, their best player, but it's not. You can't really notice that they actually have a point guard and playing a lot better. They beat the Sun. They stayed right there with the Liberty as well. They're 2-0 against the spread so far with Canada in there. Maria, what do you think about this game? Because I know you're pretty high on the Sky. You think they're going to make the playoffs.
I know. I do like the Sky, but they've kind of stumbled a little bit here lately. To start out the season, they were doing really, really well against the spread. I think they were 5-4 to start the season. Mm-hmm. And then in their last 8, 1-7 against the spread. So they kind of, the market has certainly like caught up with them. I think right now is the time to bet the Dream because they're at +1. You mentioned before they were at -1.5 to open. Now, as expected, some of that money's coming in on the Chicago side because they're kind of a public team. People are rooting for Angel Reese right now. She's had, 10 straight double-doubles. She's trying to, continue to break records with that. But she has struggled to shoot from the floor. The team as a whole has struggled to shoot from the floor. And, Tina Charles is underrated, man. Like, she's a Hall of Famer. She's a double-double machine. She's tough down low. She's going to make Angel Reese's life very difficult. So I agree. I think the Dream have looked so much better since Jordan Canada came back in the lineup. And now that you can get a point with them, now that they're a dog, I think now's the time to take Atlanta. And also Chicago, they played 4 straight home games. So I feel like they Now they're going on the road. Things are,
Mhm.
the environment's switching up. So yeah, I agree. I think the Dream is the side here.
Yeah, I lean to the Dream. If I had to bet this game, I'd take the Dream. I was trying to see who was on the injury report, seeing that the line had flipped or whatever, but I think it's really just like like a sky bias here. Remember, these lines are
Yeah.
out for a few days as well. So when I see the
Yep.
line moving right before the game, right before like right at the day of, I feel like
Yeah.
that's mostly, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I still feel like that's like public money, or you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
because like if people, like I say, these lines have been out for a couple of days. Like shout out to Kaylin Clark, because before she came, we never would get lines a couple of days in advance. Never. It would
I
never happen, Maria.
know.
Like
I
sometimes
know.
sometimes it'll be 9 o'clock in the morning of the day of the games, and you still might not have a line in the WNBA. Now they're spitting them out literally 2 whole days before the game. So shout out to
Preach.
Kaylin Clark.
Preach.
Um, yeah, so I mean, shout out to her. Before that, I'm telling you, we never got early lines. They
Yeah.
have props out the night before everything, man. But I do lean to the Dream. Like I say, they've for whatever reason they've had the sky number. They beat them earlier this season in a must-win game, and I feel like if Atlanta wants, like, this is a huge game, Maria. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, with who's going to make the playoffs, because these two teams are going to probably be
I
fighting for one of
know.
those
I
last
know.
spots. So, and I kind of thought you were going to come on here and be like, I like the Skies simply because you think that they're going to make the playoffs. They
You
would have to.
remember that.
Yeah, they would need the Dream to not make it. So this will be a huge game.
I know.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be surprised which way it goes. But the Dream have them there, owned them 5-0 straight up and against the spread last 5 meetings. Beat them in Chicago 89-80 on June 8th. They still had Ryan Howard, but they didn't have Canada. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So Sky are playing better, but Atlanta at the house starting to feel themselves a little bit with Canada at the point guard.
Yes.
It's Dream or nothing for me here. And yeah, Ariel Powers is the one that's out for the Dream, but
Yeah.
he's like a bench player.
Right. No, yeah, I'm totally with you. It's so funny. I think right before the Sky beat the Fever the other day, like last week,
Yeah.
I bet them to make the playoffs at like plus 180 or something like that. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm rooting Sky. I'm rooting against the Dream because in preseason I bet them to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it's going to come down to the wire with you're right, both of those teams. They are this one's going to mean something, but yeah, I do lean Atlanta here. I'm probably not going to bet it just because, again, it's going to be conflicting interests for myself, and I'm going to be upset if Atlanta wins. But I do agree that's the side.
Yeah. Imagine if the Dream. This is the last thing I'll say about this game. Imagine if the Dream had Teaspoon as their coach. Because I don't really like the Dream's coach. If they had Teaspoon, just imagine how dangerous the Dream would be with all those weapons over there, especially like when they have Ryan Howard healthy. I don't think that Wright. Well, I think her name is Tanisha Wright, right?
Yeah, Tanisha Wright.
I don't think that she's the answer for them at coach. And I feel if they do miss the playoffs, she's getting fired for sure. But like I know that game versus, because they had lost like 3 straight games, and they came in versus Connecticut, and they were ready. She did have them ready for that game. Like they were. I watched that whole game. She had them ready from the jump. They came out like an absolute must-win game. So we see the Dream have levels. They can get there.
I know.
They're so inconsistent, but they played the Liberty really well as well. And like I say, 2-0 against the spread with Canada, and there's a point guard. I really think that things could shift here. And we'll see. This is a huge game for both teams. But like you said, the Sky are only 1-7 against the spread last 8, 2-8 against the spread last 10 games. I feel like Atlanta at the house here maybe shouldn't be an underdog, but I'd lean Atlanta, but it's definitely a tough game to bet in this one.
No, I'm in total agreement with you. I've been looking. Tina Charles points prop at 14.5. That's a little bit tempting because I just know she's gonna see these rookies and be like salivating. And then Carter is at 16.5. I would consider betting that because I do think she just can score against anybody. And I think if where Atlanta is maybe a little bit weaker defensively would be, in that mid-range area. So some things I'll be thinking about.
Maria, what is Lindsay Allen's threes? Because she doesn't take a lot of threes, but I know she was like 3 for 3 in the first half or first 3 quarters in their game versus, in their last game versus Minnesota. She was actually balling. I actually know someone that knows Lindsay Allen as well. They were saying
I like her a lot, but I haven't not seeing a market for her right now with threes. Only people I'm seeing you can bet for threes right now on FanDuel anyway is Marina Mabury and Alicia Gray.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it'll be up before the game, but she
Yeah.
doesn't take many threes. So if her threes were at like -0.5 or something, I'd have to take that. Possibly even one. It would have to be -0.5 because she doesn't take a lot of threes. It'd have to be like
Yeah.
at -0.5 or 1.5. But I mean, obviously, we're not going to see that until later. But I do know someone that's a close relative to Lindsay Allen over there. So I think that's pretty cool over there as well. Really going to be a great game.
Yeah.
But I would look at Reese under her points. I know she's been eating on the boards. She went under her points versus Minnesota, but she shot horribly, 4 of 16, and still had 10 points. It would be scary, but I would lean towards Reese under points, but that's not something I'm playing. Let's get to this.
No, I'm with you. Let's go. Let's get it. What do we got?
Let's get to Aces. Let's go to Vegas here. Oh
yes,
man,
yes,
I can't wait. Oh, I'll be there in 10 days. I can't wait. Maria, for
Summer League.
Yes, I can't wait. But Aces land 13.5 here at the house versus the Fever in this one. Fever, another team, Maria. I think it's important to notice when some of these teams are really starting to play a lot better basketball. They figured out that they need to set more off-ball screens. It's really opened up the floor for everybody. Kelsey Mitchell, Nalissa Smith, obviously Caitlin Clark as well. It's opened up the floor for Aaliyah Boston. They're playing a lot better. The Aces have beaten them 10 straight times. But for whatever reason, I remember this too. I was looking last night. I said, I feel like the Fever always cover versus the Aces, and they've covered 3 of the last 4. They're 3-1 against the spread last 4 versus the Aces as well. And the last one, they didn't cover by 3 points. They were getting 16 and lost by 19. I feel like Fever are the spot here. No Tiffany Hayes as well for the Aces. If you guys watch them, she's like their 6th woman of the year. I lean the Fever here. Maria, I think the Fever could definitely keep this game within double digits. I wish that they had lost versus Phoenix, but they end up winning. But they're 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games. 4-2 straight up. They're playing really good ball. 5th straight road game, but it hasn't been in a lot of days. They had 3 days off from Chicago to Seattle. Then they had another couple days off from Seattle to Phoenix. It's not a far trip, and they've had a couple days off, 1 day off from Phoenix. I still feel like it's too many points, though, Maria. What do you think?
So I'm actually with you here as well, because the Aces, they have covered 3 of their last 4, but the one they didn't was against Washington. They were 13.5-point favorites in that game, and Washington was able to cover. So I do think that the Fever, with how much better they are playing, how much more they're gelling, they actually have had a little bit of a chance to breathe and rest. Caitlin's playing way better. They just look way better. And the Fever, when the first time these 2 teams played this season, it was on the second night of a back-to-back. And so, Clark was like off, and it was just not a good spot. My only problem with this is that, for whatever reason, call it the Caitlin Clark effect, whenever these teams play the Fever, it's like they're playing for their freaking life. It's like they guard her like so crazy. Like they know a lot of people are going to be watching. They know a lot of people are attending the game. They want to show out. They want to show like, hey, yeah, we're here, and we're better than this rookie. And so, like, something to think about, and this is something Sean brought up on Buckets WNBA. The Aces are actually the worst in the league at defending the 3. And so I'm like, okay, could this be a Clark game? But then I get nervous because, again, like, say Jackie Young or whatever is guarding Caitlin. Like, she might guard a certain way, but then when it's Caitlin, she's like gonna go all out. You know what I mean? Like, we saw it the other day in Phoenix. Kalia Copper was like, like white on rice on Caitlin, just up in her face the whole freaking time. Yeah. So it's tough. And same thing. So another thing Sean pointed out, the Aces are actually 2nd worst in the league at forcing turnovers. Yeah. Now, Caitlin and the Fever have been turnover prone at times, but does that mean that this might be a good matchup for them? Or are we going to see that, that just extra oomph on the defensive side of things, where they're just trying to, force turnovers, where they're just playing, super, super focused out there on the perimeter? So that's my only hesitation, but I do think 13.5 is a lot. And I would love to see a much closer game here, a more competitive game. by the Fever. I mean, I actually think it's good that they beat Phoenix in a way, because I think they're probably going to go into this with a lot more confidence than they would have otherwise. So, I mean, I'm leaning Fever plus 13.5. But again, it's one of those things. You never know with the Aces if they just are going to wake up and be like, well, we're the most dominant team in the league. We're going to, freaking, this will be the night that Asia like breaks some scoring record or something.
Yeah, she's a matchup. I mean, Boston can't fuck with Asia. Like, I mean, what are we doing here? Asia will go for 30 points in her sleep here. They can win by 10 points, and Asia still go for 30, and she can go for 30 points, 10 rebounds here easily. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. In the last matchup, she had 29 points in 30 minutes. She had 29 points, 15 rebounds versus Leah Boston. But like you did say, there was a back-to-back though. And you know what I noticed about Leah Boston? She slimmed down a lot. Because when I was watching her earlier this season, obviously she was like a little bit of a bigger girl, but she could barely even get up and down the floor. Looking at her now, I'm like, she's lost some pounds. And she's getting up and down the floor a lot better as well. Kelsey Mitchell is freaking balling right now, Maria. And if they're going to be focusing on Caitlin Clark, I feel like Kelsey Mitchell would be the main one that would really profit from that. You see what I'm saying? She's been balling from three as well. If they're not going to be defending a three and they're not going to be forcing turnovers, the Fever might have a lot better offensively game than people might think. I lean Fever here heavily, like that plus 13.5 is looking at me. Especially with no Tiffany Hayes here. That's their main scoring points off the bench for the Aces, in my opinion. So I know Chelsea Gray broke out of her little slump, had 22 points last game. But I don't know, man. I think that they're gonna be making Chelsea Gray work on defense tonight.
Well, that's the thing.
Like to run.
That's the thing with Chelsea Gray. Like, she's obviously great. I don't know if you can say she's in peak form right yet. And I think where you see that show up is going to be on the defensive end. So maybe we do, we do see some of those threes. And another thing too. So I think this is going to be a high scoring game. Kerner had given out the over like 173.5. That's already up to, I think I saw up to 179 or something like that. So I wouldn't recommend betting that right now. But at the same time, if it's a high scoring game, then that means the Fever are being competitive and they're keeping it close. So I'm rooting Fever in this one. I'm rooting for a close game just because I think that's going to be the most entertaining. So yeah.
Yeah, Fever are definitely an over team for sure. Like that's the only way they play. They don't have the best defense, but their offense runs and guns. They have a multitude of scores out there. I wouldn't bet the Aces in this game. It's Fever plus 13.5 or nothing. And for whatever reason, I feel like they always play the Aces tough. And like you said, the game they played earlier this season was a back-to-back for the Fever, and it was during their toughest stretch of the season. And they hadn't had to figure out how to play each other. It's the exact opposite this time around, which the Aces still at the house, but now they're coming back home off a little mini 2-game East Coast road trip. Fever are on their 5th straight game of a road trip. That's not the best, but it's not a back-to-back. They've really figured something out. I'm telling you, I've been watching this team.
Oh my God, you're definitely
at first the coach, that's another team, Maria. If their coach was better, just imagine how great the Fever would be. And this might be her last year as well. But they start to watch the Warriors, Maria, and they start to figure out how they were playing, because obviously everybody's like they're treating Caitlin Clark like she's Steph. They're figuring out how to play off of her, play around her, get her open. Kelsey Mitchell, they're really starting. They watch the Warriors, they're seeing how to play with them. They're playing a lot better basketball. I think this is a Fever plus 13.5 spot. If you like the Aces, I see people in the chat saying they like Chelsea Gray over her assists, things like that. If you like the Aces as well, I would just go with A'ja Wilson to go bunkers in this game, because it is a matchup nightmare for her. I mean, she's been on an absolute tear right now as well. But I still feel like when it's all said and done, Fever get the job done here, plus 13.5 points here, Maria.
Let's go.
Is Chelsea Gray assist really at 5.5? There's no way.
Why, you think it should be lower?
I think it should be higher. I think it should be like 7.5.
Yeah, that over 5.5.
They're smoking. Let me see what her is. She on a minutes limit or something? Or what? Is she on a minutes?
I think she returned to the starting lineup a couple of games ago.
She only had 4 assists. She played 26 minutes, so she's still on somewhat of a minutes limit because she's not playing up into the 30s like Plum,
Yeah,
Young, and Wilson. But she finally had her scoring game, 22 points. Her
yeah.
plus minus was 20. She went 8 of 9 from the field versus the Mystics. I don't know if I call them the Wizards.
Crazy.
I'm so used to I probably call them the Wizards, but she only
Yeah,
had 4 assists in that game.
yeah.
But like
Well, that
she
was
was more
also yeah, but I think that's kind of an uncharacteristic game in terms of
right.
like I don't know that she's going to shoot 8 of 9 from the floor again.
Exactly.
And she's more likely like that was an interesting for whatever reason that matchup she was able to score.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
I
she's gonna have to play a little bit more here as well. With no Tiffany Hayes out with
yeah,
a personal issue, she might have to
yeah,
play. She might get to the 30 minutes, but I don't think she's gonna be scoring. I think that over 5.5 assists is actually a really good look from our guy Hassan in the
yeah,
chat there. I think that over
or,
5.5, I think that's a solid look there, especially with no Tiffany Hayes. But
yeah,
last game up here, Maria. Let's go over to the street to LA in this one. I don't have much on this one. I mean, this is two of the worst teams in the WNBA right here. Somebody has to win. I need like a really strong angle for me to bet this game. In my opinion, I'd like to say the Sparks with them have to like usually in these type of games. I like to go with the team that has the longer losing streak, but
mhm.
obviously they're without Lexi Brown now and without Brink as well. Two players that they need. Obviously, they got Hamby over there. I know who's it like Rakia Jackson. No, not her. It's who is this? Who is
Well,
this?
Rakia Jackson is on the Spark. She's been playing. She's been playing good.
Zaya Cook. That's who I was thinking.
Oh,
I was watching one of them games. I was like, this girl can ball, man.
yeah,
It was the last game versus Phoenix. I believe it was one of those. It was one of those games versus New York, and Cook was low key balling. Yeah, she
yeah.
had 17.
Cook was
She had
cooking.
17 minutes. She had 14 points. I was like, she can kind of cook, man.
Yeah.
She was out
No,
there balling.
I lean Sparks here. The only problem is I don't like how the line has shifted. I think
Right.
people started betting the Sparks. They were initially, I think, maybe like a 1 point or 1.5 point dog,
Yeah, they
which I
were.
liked. Now they're favored by 2. So it's like, whatever. Like I could bet it, but I'm not going to really get a whole lot out of it. But I do like the Sparks are at home. They had played 7 straight road games, Jay. So like they haven't played a home game since June 9th.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably going to be happy that they're back home. I think this is a game that you want to win. Look, we clearly know neither of these teams are making the playoffs. You know that they're not necessarily doing everything to protect their rotation they're just like whatever. But at the same time, I do think they have pride. These teams actually both have been very competitive, even though they haven't won a lot. And so, like, I think this is the game where the Sparks are like, all right, come on. Like, we got to win this one. Like, we're not going to win a lot of games. This is one we can win. And Hamby is playing phenomenal. I mean, she should be an all-star. Well, she's already going to be, on the 3-on-3 Olympic team. But she's been playing so good. And I think she has the advantage inside because, Shakira Austin is still out for Washington. Aaliyah Edwards has been playing well, but like Hamby's another level. She's going to have the advantage in the paint, I think.
So yeah, Hamby can fucking ball, Maria. Yeah. I could like imagine if Hamby was on a different team, imagine if Hamby was like on the Dream or something like that. Like, yeah. Oh boy, man, it would be crazy.
I mean, people forget like she was an all-star when she was with Vegas.
Right.
Before they were like, yeah, we don't want you anymore. Yeah. Which was kind of messed up.
Yeah, no, Hamby, every time I watch her, I'm just like, man, I just like the way she plays, man. Like I don't care. These women play harder than the dudes out here. Like as far as like game to game, they give their all the whole game. They're not sitting out for this. I got a headache or something, or I scraped my arm, or I broke my fingernail at shoot around. I can't sit out. No, these women come to play every single game. They go out there, play with passion. They play tough as well. But just something interesting to note: the Mystics 8-1 against the spread last 9 games. And the Sparks are 6-3 against the spread. So even though they had lost 7 straight games, the Sparks have still been covering spreads, and the Mystics have been seeming to cover every single spread as well. A lot of those were big double digits as well. But they beat the Wings back-to-back games. They beat the Sky as well. These were games at the house. It's the exact opposite because the Mystics have been playing most of their games at the house, Maria. They played 5 of their last 6 at the house. Now This is low key, Maria. I'll teach you a little something here. This is a late night sleepy spot for an East Coast team playing on the West Coast. Remember, they usually play Eastern times. Now they're playing this game is a 10 p.m. Body clock time for the Mystics here tonight. So this game is going to end like at like 1 o'clock in the morning, like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning for them on their bodies. I'd like to say I lean Sparks here. It's too much without Lexi Brown and Brink. Hamby could still have a great game. If I like the Sparks here, it would be first quarter, first half, because that's when they can really come out with some. But it's like this is what happened in the last game, Maria. The Mystics came out hot, and then the Sparks had end up getting it done like in the fourth quarter and end up winning by 2. It's a really tough game, man. Like my guys in chat said, it's a 1-800 gambler game right here. I'd lean Sparks, but I'm not betting this game, man. Sparks are nothing for me here.
I lean Sparks. I have one more idea for you. You tell me what you think. Stephanie Dolson has been, I'm pretty sure she's shooting like 50% from 3 this season. I'll have to find that, but I'm just looking at her game log here. And I know this is tough because it's like you said, the last 4 games were at home, but she made 5 threes, 4 threes, 4 threes, 2 and 4. So she hit at least 4 threes in 4 out of 5 games. So her made threes right now are 2.5. We think she can make 3 threes minus 102.
3 threes. I wouldn't go with the 3. I wouldn't. No, I would go with her points and rebounds or something. That way, if she gets some inside, like if Hamby's not in the game, Dolson will have a really great matchup. Anybody other than him, especially with no Brink out there, I'd rather just go with her points over. Then obviously, if she hits the 3, that's going to help her. What is her points at?
12.5.
Yeah, I would take 12.5. Yeah, because if she gets 3 threes, she's definitely going to be on the right path to get the 12.5. And there's multiple pathways for her to get over to 13, getting to the foul line, getting some putbacks, things like that. So I would go with Dolson over 12.5 points before I took the threes. I mean, you can definitely say that the Mystics, this is the whole reason why you don't bet this game. The Mystics are probably the better overall team, but when you see these two teams with records like this, you never know which one of them is gonna tank the game. Like one of these teams are gonna have the worst record in the WNBA. So one of these, so you never know which one like has less interest on winning this game. You see what I'm saying? And so the fact that the Mystics have won recently, that tells me that the Sparks probably want to get off that 7-game losing streak. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you don't want to lose forever. Remember, they're competitors. They hate losing. They know that they're going to have one of the worst records in the league. But when you have a winnable game, you at least want to win your winnable games. You see what I'm saying? So they might lose the next 5 after this one, but they at least want to get. This is their perfect time to get off of their losing streak. So Sparks are nothing for me here. Not touching the game with a 10-foot pole, but I know that Dolson over points is definitely a good look. And I couldn't talk you off Hamby over 9.5 points as well. And if you could get some Zaya Cook props, I mean, shit, I think she, I think she might. I think she might cook.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
I'm kind of you're really cracking yourself up. No, I'm kind of peeping now. I'm contemplating maybe even Dolson points plus rebounds 18.5.
Yeah, I like that too.
So,
I like the points and points and rebounds. That's a good look there, to be honest with you.
Let's see how many of these I actually bet, and then tomorrow be like, what the hell? Why didn't I bet this? Because last time I was on with you, for some reason, I was like, yeah, Carlton over 9.5. And then I forgot that the game was tipping in like a half hour. And I was like, shit, I forgot.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, no, you got to bet it early because that'll happen too. It was like a game yesterday. I was like, oh, damn, the game. I was doing all type of stuff around the house, like building a table and stuff. And then I'm like, damn, the games are started, man. Yeah, I was literally building a toddler's table yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But I had to put together the chairs, the table, all that. But it's all good. Let's get out of here, though, man. We talked 4 games. It's always a great time, Maria. We're going through every game. We're talking props, everything. I'll tell you right now, Maria, what do you like? Let's know what you like. Whether you bet or not, what are your leans on each game?
Yeah, definitely leaning Lynx. Well, no. I'm staying away from Lynx. I'm staying away from the Lynx.
We're not leaning, man.
Sorry, I got confused for a second. I think I'm staying away from betting aside considering Sabrina and everything, and considering I just want to enjoy that game. But what were the other ones? I'm leaning Dream +1, Fever +13.5. I like the Sparks to win this game, but I'm probably not going to bet it. I'm probably going to look toward a prop, maybe Stephanie Dolson there. Maybe for the Liberty, I'll go Lainey Hamilton over on her points. Or rebounds, one of the two.
Yeah, I know that's what they liking in the Action Network cap. They hopping all on that Laney over her 4.5 and 5.5 rebounds at plus money, man. So that odds are already moving. I know Turvey posted it. And guys, go check out the Action Network app. It's all free picks over there. Everybody that watches the show, I always tell them to go check it out. So I'm pretty sure most people have it downloaded, but like make sure you're following the right people as well, or even really just when you go to the game, it'll show the experts that have picks on the games, guys. So Turvey, all the guys are over there, the WNBA experts, they're hopping on Laney over 4.5 rebounds. They've moved the line from +135 to +100. They even taken over 5.5 at like north of +200 as well. No props for me. I hope that Sabrina plays. I do think that she'll plays. I do think that Laney can have a good game. I do think that Jonquel Jones will have a lot better game as well. This team is going to be turned up. I like their mindset. I like them saying that we play them again in a few days. At going to be turned up for this game. I think that this is a major bounce back spot for the Liberty in this one. I do think the Lynx are starting to at least come back down to earth at least a little bit. I think Collier's a little banged up. I think she goes under her 20.5 points. I know that last night her PRA was at 34.5. I think Collier goes under her PRA, goes under her points. But more importantly, I like the Liberty here to get this game started fast, early as well. Come out with a vengeance in this one. I'll take the Liberty in the first quarter, -1.5. First half, -2.5. Full game, you can get -4.5. I'll go with -5 for the show here. I like the Liberty in a trifecta spot. You see what I'm saying? We holding up we finna hold up this dub like the Statue of Liberty in this one. That's what I like today. Small lean to Dream, bigger lean to the Fever +13.5, and the 1-800 gambler game in this Sparks misses. Find some good props. Maybe Dolson. Maybe Dolson over 12.5 points. Maybe Dolson over 18.5 points and rebounds is a really good look. I'd lean to the Sparks. They've lost 7 straight. I lean to their way in the first quarter as well. Maybe some Zaya Cook props, but none for me there. Play of the day for me today. Liberty in the trifecta. Bounce back J spot.
You said they're gonna be turning it up. I'm gonna be in the crowd turning it up. I'm gonna make sure the crowd gets into it. We're gonna be cheerleading. We are going to be going all out. We need the Libs to take this home here for the fans of Brooklyn. So, but yeah, always a fun time with you, Jay.
Always, anytime. Hopefully, we get Maria back next week as well. We're whenever she can come on. The people love the show. They love when you come on. We usually make some money, so let's keep it going, Maria. Whenever you're always welcome. Whenever whenever you can, Maria. Hey, let me know. We'll come in. Hey, maybe it could be like a little 2-game slate. We do 20 minutes real quick and get up out of there. But whenever you're ready, let's come on and let's do this as much as possible. It's all fun. And I'll be on the Buckets podcast as well here pretty soon, Maria.
Yes,
I can't wait to
figure that out
with you. Yeah. Whenever you're ready. But we appreciate everybody for tuning in. If y'all guys like the show, if you appreciate the info, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, man. All that good stuff. Let's get some cash. Go download the Action Network app. It's all love. We hope y'all have a great day. Let's go, my guys. Let's get this cash, baby. We out.